Welcome all of you on my channel. I'm Suvida Jamwal and we'll be doing the poem Childhood of class 11 of book Hornbill. So Childhood is a poem by Marcus Nathan, who was an Australian poet, and the details of his life are very unclear. It is believed that he has written this poem in the age of 11. So let us first of all discuss the title, which is Childhood, that is Bachpan, where the poet is talking about his loss of childhood, his innocence. He's thinking, when did he lose his childhood? So now this is his question throughout the poem, and he's speculating or thinking about different options in every stanza. Along with this, he's discussing all these options with us that can be a day, time, when he lost his childhood. But with the help of this poem, he wants to convey that he missed his childhood and he's always thinking of when he lost his childhood and where this childhood was being lost by him. So now let us read this poem, which is having four stanzas, and with every stanza, he is sharing a different feeling. So the first stanza says, when did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? So in stanza 1, he starts with a question. That question is, when did my childhood go? So this is a question that he present in front of us. Over here, the word ceased. This word ceased mean something that is being stopped or it has been over. So the poet says that he is asking when, कब उसका जो childhood है उससे दूर चला गया. Now he says, was it the time when his age was more than 11 years, or when he has crossed that age of 11, that childhood was lost by him. Now, because after crossing an age of 11, children they generally get mature and they acquire understanding of many things. And he considered this option that it can be that time when he has lost his childhood, or it could be that time when he has realized hell and heaven are not places that can be found in geography books. Because when a child is young, he gives physical attributes to things like they are places that can be visited. And children, they are often being told that if you do the good deeds, you'll be welcomed in heaven, and if you do the bad deeds, you'll be going to hell. So they think that from the very beginning, they have started a concept in their mind that hell and heaven, they are places that to be visited. Because in geography books, all the places are being located by us. So the poet says that maybe it can be that day when he had realized that hell and heaven, they are not the places they are that to be visited, but they are the imaginary places. So it can be that day when he had lost his childhood, or maybe he had grown up so much after the age of when he had completed 11 years that he got mature and he had started getting the understanding of this concept. In this stanza, the poet is also putting emphasis on his thinking, that is rational and logical, that his childhood might have gone far from him, and it can be that day when he had crossed 11 years, or when he has realized that there is no such hell and heaven like places, because it is all imaginary. The second stanza say, when did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized the adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? Now, in this stanza, he's again repeating his question. Now, his question was, when did my childhood go? And then he put forward his new thought, Now his new thought is that was that the day he lost his childhood, when he realized that all the adults or elders that is surrounding him are not what they are showing. They are actually different from inside. Now this is the nature which is known to be as hypocrisy, which is basically a quality where a person doesn't portray the real self, because in reality they are someone different, but in present but they present themselves as the opposite of the one they are. So the poet thinks that it can be that time when he realized all the adults near him were not the ones they seem to be or they show. So he thinks that it can be that day when he had got mature, when he had started identifying these people, that those who were portraying were not them but their real self, but whatever things they were presenting in front of the poet was a mask, a facade. Then the poet says that the adults who used to tell him that when they used to talk about love, they preached of love, but they did not act so lovingly. Over here, he is putting forward an instance of his parents who were constantly involved in fights. So the poet says that it can be that day when he realized that the adults, his elders, were not doing that, whatever things they were preaching. They were actually doing things of their own. They want their children, the elders, they demand from their children that they should love each other. They should behave to in front of everyone in a loving way. But if the question comes in front of the elders what their deeds are, they are not doing what they are preaching. So in this second stanza he says that it can be because of the hypocrisy of the adults, that whatever they are showing, whatever they are presenting in front of children, they are not that. Now coming to the third stanza, which says, when did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine, to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and mine alone? Was that the day? Now, in the third stanza, the poet again asks that when did my childhood go? Now he is presenting the next thought, and this next thought is individuality. Now over here the concept of individuality is being highlighted, where he say that it can be that time when he realized his mind was only his own, and he can use his mind to produce whatever independent thoughts he want to, and in whichever way. And these thoughts would be belonging to him only, because when he had identified himself as a person, he will have his own thoughts. And that was a time when he had given this thing as a concept of individuality, that he thinks that it can be that time when he has lost his childhood. Then in the fourth stanza it says, where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. So over here he says that the poet is finally giving us a conclusion where he thinks, where is where he's putting forward the same question, but the question has changed from where to when. Where is that कब मेरा बचपन मुझसे दूर हो गया. ओवर हेयर वेयर इज कहाँ मेरा बचपन मुझसे दूर हो गया, या फिर कहाँ मेरा बचपन चला गया. सो ओवर हेयर he is saying that his childhood has went to some forgotten place, some place which that he had forgotten a long time back, and it is an unknown place, and he doesn't know anything about this place. And now he gives us an answer that it is hidden in the face of an infant, because everyone in their childhood, because every one of us, whenever we have to recall our memories of a childhood, whenever we look at the face on in the face of an infant, we are able to gather our memories, we are able to recall all our memories, because our childhood is in the face of an infant, because he infant is a reflection of innocence, he's a reflection of purity. So with this our poem comes to an end, which is very nostalgic and very interesting poem, where we everyone can think about our childhood, think about our childhood, that we everyone didn't realize that when and where our childhood has gone. So now we'll be discussing the literary devices that is being used in the poem. So starting from the first stanza. So first stanza has the first literary device as the rhyme scheme. So in this the rhyme scheme is A B B C C D. So over here A is given to go, 11 and heaven they are forming a pair, so that's why given as B. Then geography and B they have formed as second pair, that is being regarded as C. Then the day, it's not forming any pair with anything, that is D. So the rhyming scheme is A B B C C D. Then comes the second literary device, that is refrain. So over here refrain means repetition of a phrase. Over here the first line, when did my childhood go, and the last line, was that the day, it is being repeated in throughout the poem, so it can be regarded as refrain. So generally a refrain is being used when the poet wants to put an emphasis on a particular point. So he's asking asking this, that when did my childhood go, and then after giving an answer he was emphasizing the point, that was that the day when my childhood was being lost. So first and the last line can be regarded as refrain. Now the third literary device is anaphora. So anaphora is basically a line or a group of words which is being used in the starting of a line. Over here in the line 2 and line 3 we are having this device, was it the day or was it the time, was it the, these three words are being repeated two times, so it can be regarded as an example of anaphora. Now the fourth literary device is assonance. So in assonance, in any line, when we are having the same vowel sound, it can be regarded as assonance. In this assonance, in the second line we are having, was it the day I ceased to be 11. Over here E sound is prominent, ceased to be 11. So this is an example of assonance. Third line, was it the time I realized that hell and heaven, hell, heaven, E sound is prominent in second and third line, so that's why it is regarded as example of assonance. Then the fifth literary device is antithesis. So in antithesis basically is that when two opposite words are used together, that is regarded as antithesis. So hell and heaven in third line is an example of antithesis because they are opposite of each other. Sixth one is alliteration. Alliteration is when the consonant sound is prominent and they are giving us, and when the two different words they are joined together and they are producing a consonant sound, that is being regarded as alliteration. Over here the third line, was it the time I realized that hell and heaven, hell and heaven, they both are giving H sound. That's why it's regarded as the example of alliteration. Now, coming to the next stanza, that is the second stanza. Over here, we are not having any rhyming scheme, but there is another literary device that is being used as enjambment. Now, enjambment is when one sentence goes in two lines without the use of any punctuation mark. So that is regarded as enjambment. Over here, we are having second and third line. Was it the time I realized the adults were not all they seem to be? Now, this is a full sentence. Over here, there is no punctuation mark in second and third line. So, it is regarded as an example of enjambment. Then, there is one more literary device which is not being written by me over here, that is refrain. Refrain is when a phrase is being used again and again to put an emphasis. Over here, the first line and the last line is an example of refrain. Then the third stanza. Over here, the same thing is there, that is no rhyming scheme is being used. Then the second literary device, first literary device that comes into play is inversion. So inversion basically is when a sentence format is being changed or it has been inverted. Now in this, the third line is an example of inversion. How is it? I will let you know that to use whichever way I choose, because if we have to write this sentence in our way, will be the most appropriate way is I choose whichever way, or I choose the way I want to. So subject and object, the sentence formation has been inverted to use whichever way I choose. So over here it can be formed as an example of inversion, and the poet has used this inversion device in this poem. Then the second literary device is assonance. So assonance is when the consonant sound is the vowel sound is very prominent. Over here in assonance, we are having the fourth line, producing thoughts that were not those of other people. So over here O sound is very prominent, so we can regard this as an example of assonance. Then the third literary device, that is alliteration. So alliteration is when the consonant sound is repeated at the start of two or more consecutive words. So the first one is thoughts and that, which is from the fourth line, producing thoughts that were not those of other people. Over here, thoughts, the sound is very prominent. Thoughts and that, the sound is prominent, that's why it's an example of alliteration. Second is my mind, m sound is very prominent. Then whichever way, which, w, v sound is very prominent, so that's why it's an example of alliteration. Then enjambment. Enjambment is when one sentence is divided in two different lines, that is regarded as an example of enjambment. Over here, example of enjambment is producing thoughts that were not those of other people but my own. Now the last stanza, it has a rhyming scheme. The rhyming scheme is A B B A. That means go and no, they form one pair. Place and face, they form one pair. Hence it has the rhyming scheme. Then the second literary device is anaphora. Anaphora is when the two words of or a phrase of two different lines, they are same. Over in third line and fourth line, that's is being repeated, so we can regard it as an example of anaphora. So with this we come to an end of this poem. Thank you everyone for watching this video, And if you like this video, do press the like button and have a nice day. Thank you.